Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Plains on the Prairie podcast. I'm Max,
And I'm Sam.
and today we have I'd say a really cool, interesting story about our third to last North Dakota ace, Lieutenant Commander Harvey Picken.
Yeah, this was a fun one to research. Well, the sorry for the hiatus, guys. We've been busy, but we also wanted to make sure this episode went right. We found some more information that a gentleman named Mike from a Facebook post or Facebook page I stumbled upon just while researching, basically dedicated to Fighter Squadron 18, which is a squadron Picken served for.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's just extensive amount of research on pretty much everybody in the squadron.
Yeah.
I just figured I'd Facebook message him, see what he had on Picken, and we got a lot more than I expected.
Absolutely. And we could either talk about it now or we could talk about it at the end. I'd say, should we just mention off the bat who we got in touch with?
Yeah, so Mike Fink, again, is the moderator of that Facebook page, and he got in touch with Jackie Case, the daughter of Harvey Picken, which was incredible. I mean, she gave us full consent to use these photos, and she provided some info as well, which was just invaluable to us. I mean, we got too much information probably to fit into a podcast. So if you want extra info, definitely hop over to that Facebook page.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is the first time that we've had a living family member of any of our aces, maybe not reach out to us, but provided us with such a treasure trove of information, not on just, Harvey's military career, but his post-war life and, his exploits during World War II. And we're honored to be able to share his story with you guys today.
Exactly. So this episode goes out to Jackie. Thank you. Hopefully you can get a listen on this. We'll make sure to send it to Mike as well, the link.
Absolutely.
So thank you to both of you.
Absolutely. Well, without further ado, should we jump right in?
Yeah, let's dig in.
All right. So Harvey Peter Picken was born on April 15th, 1916 in Minot, North Dakota. And for people that don't know North Dakota geography, Minot is, I know hours. I don't know miles, but it's about 4.5 miles northwest of Fargo.
Right.
So for back in the 1900s and 1920s, that'd probably be a couple-day trip by horse, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's a trip. I mean, yeah, especially before the highways and interstate systems came to be.
It is out in the boondocks. And, many people, we've covered Minot in the past with Minot Air Force Base being up there. However, Minot Air Force Base did not exist in 1916. It was rural farm country, and it was small. However, they did have the Minot State Teachers College, from which I read his middle name. Harvey graduated from there in May of 1940. And didn't take long for him to join the U.S. Navy in December of 1940. And he was initially trained at Wold Chamberlain Field in Minneapolis, which we've covered during our North Dakota Aces series in the past. And he later was transferred to Naval Air Station Pensacola, where he earned his wings of gold and was commissioned as an ensign in August of 1941. So I think I saw he initially served as an instructor pilot, right?
Yes.
And, this would have been around the time that the war was kicking off. We had talked a little bit about how pilots were usually kept stateside if they had experience.
Right. And well, with his early commission, prior to Pearl Harbor, that probably was the case with Picken.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you had any previous experience, it was invaluable. I mean, you don't, again, getting into that philosophy with pilot usage between the two sides, and ended up working really well.
Absolutely. He served as an instructor pilot in Florida and Alabama, and then was later reassigned to Aerial Photographic School at, of all places, Pearl Harbor, on the island of Oahu in Hawaii. So after Aerial Photographic School, which I couldn't find much on, like, were they training them to take photos of, like, enemy coastal positions, or
it was all around reconnaissance. I mean, I was just reading a book about Joe Foss.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we'll probably get into him at some point here with our sticking to the prairie, But yeah, there was, and he was a Marine pilot, but yeah, they mounted cameras in different spots on different aircraft. I believe in the Wildcat, it was towards the tail, or sorry, the Hellcat, excuse me, is towards the tail end. But yeah, they took pictures of whatever, they typically were unarmed. We're going to find out later.
Yeah. It
Harvey
wasn't always the
wasn't,
case.
yeah. But yeah, that's pretty interesting there. And yeah, he was, this will take over here, I guess. He was attached to VF-18 from their Fighting Squadron 18, or the USS Intrepid. So, and then they went on the cruise in late 1944.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So he scored his first victory on September 10th, 1944, when he downed a Mitsubishi Ki-46. Is it Dinah or Dana? Dinah. And what made this first kill and all of his kills really impressive is, like you said earlier, he's a photo recon pilot. Yeah. So usually photo recon Hellcats either carried very little armament, or most time no armament at all, just to save weight
and speed to get out of there.
Yeah.
So Hellcat, as many of our listeners probably know, isn't the fastest bird you had in the Pacific. So,
but I mean, I think we all could agree the Hellcat could dish it out.
And it could take.
Yes. So, but I don't know how his superiors would have taken hearing Picken did what in a dogfight in a aerial and I assume they were a special variant. I believe the F6 F5P, right?
Yep,
yeah,
they were a special. There weren't many of them on board. Typically, we've got an expert possibly listening to this right now. There were not many. I think 2 usually attached to a squadron.
So if one had gone down, that would be a pretty big loss.
It's high risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, well, the nice thing about the Dinah is they're typically unarmed. So, and the Dinah was a very fast aircraft when it came in. The Wildcats couldn't catch up to them. Pretty much we had nothing to catch up to them, and they also flew at high altitude. Yeah. So once the Hellcat came in, as you know from reading up quite a bit yourself, things changed.
Yep. So absolutely. Yeah, the Dinahs they're one of my favorite, I'd say, Japanese planes of the Second World War. They're cool. I think one of them, only one is still around in England, I believe.
So, yeah.
Very neat. So his second kill came 3 days later on the 13th when he scored another kill against a Mitsubishi F1M Pete float plane. So,
and I don't know if you saw the news. I don't remember where it was, but they found 5 fuselages.
Yeah.
I think, did I send that to you?
You did. Yep.
Yeah, that's just amazing. Sorry for the sidebar there. But
hopefully one of them, some rich guy picks him up.
And you'll find with the rest of these victories, he's got quite a mixed bag as well. Kind of like, was it Czech, I believe?
Yeah.
Had a really mixed bag. And
well, I don't think he scored a 0 until I don't even know what kill that would have been. His
Czech and what's his name? Heinzen. They both had some. It's fun to see what different stuff. But
so his third kill came on the 21st, all within the same month of September. He shot down 2 G4M Betty bombers, which are pretty famous, I'd say, and then a Kawasaki Ki-64 Tony and a Nakajima Ki-49 Helen. So you're going from a Betty, and I believe Tonys are pretty.
Yeah, the Ki-61s, they're basically, they had the Daimler-Benz license built.
They're 61. Okay, yeah, 61s. Okay.
Yeah, basically it's a lot. They're always misidentified as 109s.
Really?
That if you hear all those accounts, I swear there's a 109. Most of them are the Ki-61s because they're the ones with the inline engine, a little different than.
And did the Germans give those plans to the Japanese?
It was a license built. It was kind of like Ford license built B-24s.
And gotcha.
And GM and doing all these other license built things. It's kind of the same logic there.
Interesting.
But yeah, that was all over Clark Field, according to my research.
Yep, that's what I got
which
too.
Is pretty cool. I mean, right over the field, right over where a lot of this started.
Absolutely. And at that time, would the field have been in Japanese hands?
Yes, at this point, I believe it would be. Yeah,
gotcha. It makes you wonder I mean, I assume, Clark Field has been raised and stuff like that over the years, but I know it was in operation through the 70s and 80s. So
Right. Well,
who
I'm currently reading a book sitting over there called Air Apaches. It's about the 345th Bomb Group, and there's a recount at the end there where the forewords by a son of a pilot from the bomb group towards the end of the war. I mean, they're there in the 50s actually, and just walking around, and the dad just thinking over his memories. It was pretty cool.
Absolutely. That's the special thing, that's for sure. So that later that same day, so the 21st, I think he went back to the Intrepid to refuel and rearm. He came back to the Philippines and shot down another Tony. So if by my math is correct, that's two Bettys, KI-61, and then a KI-49, and then another Tony. That makes him an ace in a day.
Yeah. Plus, so he's at 7 at that.
Yeah.
Really
so that's crazy. And that makes 2 North Dakota natives that became aces in a day.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty cool. That is awesome. So the following day on September 22nd, he shot down his first A6M Zeke, or more famously known as the Zero. And then interestingly, I think I skip here a little bit, but yeah, kind of a sidebar, but the USS Intrepid, you've been to New York before, or
I have not. No.
You've not. The USS Intrepid is on display there, right along, I think it's the Hudson River. Don't quote me on that, but still around. And I remember I had visited it when I was on a spring break back in high school. And our tour guide said that one of the most infamous moments in the history of the Intrepid was a kamikaze hitting the ready room for the pilots and killing, oh gosh, I don't know how many of them, which is terrible. Amazingly, I think he said it in an account that he was just leaving that room right before that happened.
That's crazy.
And I think I got this from like a Minot newspaper, but that he said that was the closest he's ever come to death. Not fighting against the Japanese in a photo recon Hellcat, but surviving a near miss from a kamikaze, which is absolutely crazy. So Picken was promoted to lieutenant commander in 1945, and he would go on to shoot down 3 more enemy aircraft, which were all, part of my pronunciation, Yokosuka D4Y Judy dive bombers. I love saying that word, by the way. That is so cool. Yokosuka. So yeah, he ended the war with 11 kills against aircraft, and I believe he had 3 kills on the ground.
Yeah, he had a really extensive.
Yeah, actually, one of the
thanks to Mike, we have a full. Yeah, we have 11 aerial victories, 4 planes on the ground, 4 damaged and destroyed or damaged, 2 locomotives, which he actually did pre-war, was a locomotive fireman.
Oh, really?
For Great Northern, which Mike also provided here. It's the 2 locomotives, 3 assists on shipping vessels sunk, and 7 assists on shipping vessels damaged, and countless photos with his recon stuff. So quite the
that is one very impressive resume for a Navy photo recon pilot.
Yeah, and in addition to that, he was also the lead photo officer for Fighter Squadron 18.
Oh, really?
So we'll probably put this all in a post. I think we should probably do a multiple photo, but Mike provided some really cool reconnaissance photos of different positions on Leyte. And it's really cool, and that their work was used by MacArthur's staff in invasion planning. So it's very pivotal stuff.
That is, the North Dakota connection right there. That is awesome.
Yeah.
So Picken was released from the Navy in November of 1945 and returned to Minot, where he worked for the Great Northern Railroad Company before owning and operating the Brown Derby and then later Harvey's Lounge, which were both located in Minot throughout the 1960s and 70s. He would go on to have several other business ventures before he passed away on March 18th, 1997 at the age of 80. So a pretty remarkable, very remarkable career for one of Minot's native sons, I would say. That's,
Quite the record.
a photo recon pilot, a double ace.
We shouldn't have been.
Shouldn't have been. I mean, it probably shouldn't have been there. Probably got a good reprimand the first time, but it makes me wonder. So these photo recon pilots, would they ever be like, okay, you're going up in a standard 5 model today, or you're always flying the 5P?
You're probably always flying the 5P. The F4F7 was also the predecessor to that photo recon, just because that's what their job was. I mean, even this, different fighters were always outfitted with that. I mean, with the cameras, going up and just doing recon with your memory is really hard.
Yeah,
you're not providing. Think about something you did 10 minutes ago, or every detail you had for breakfast. That's hard to do.
I can't
unless
remember
you really
anything.
like breakfast.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just one heck of a career.
Absolutely.
Really amazing. And it's kind of funny. Probably saw me ruffling through here. Most store aces are from the Northwest part of the state, which is really crazy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's in the sparse population part.
They raised a different breed out there.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
So yeah, we'll segue from his combat career and post-war career,
all right,
to the squadron. So again, like I said at the beginning of the episode, you're going to really want to dig in to that Fighting Squadron 18 page. Give it a like. There's a lot of these really
support
cool.
them.
Yeah, these type of squadron pages are really cool. We use that for our Bacchus episode last time.
And that's something that I feel like people don't really appreciate is, there are Facebook groups dedicated to this, super niche information. And, all the group members usually have a personal connection to the squadron or are just super passionate about it. Mm-hmm. And I think I've learned more from Facebook groups than a lot of books in the past couple of years. And, a lot of that is coming from guys or girls that either have, like I said, a personal connection or were actually there. And that's something that you can't beat.
Right. And you never know what you're going to find in those pages. It's crazy. Yeah. So VF-18, we're going to gloss over it a little bit. Just like I said, there's so much information that we've been provided, don't know what to do with, So we'll kind of keep it similar to the rest of our episodes. So VF-18 was established March 5th, 1944, a later one. So a lot of these other squadrons are 43, 42. Boarded the USS Intrepid in August 1944, and quite the record. It downed 172 aircraft in the air in that short period of time, and 208 on the ground, and over 30 merchant ships sunk. So yeah, all in until it was disestablished December 20th of 1944. So
in 44.
Yeah, 4 months.
In that 4 month span, impressive. That's very impressive.
Well, and then they were reformed January 1945, and they're actually equipped with, they're still stateside, but they were equipped with F-8F Bearcats, one of the first squadrons to be equipped with them. And then they were later disestablished weeks later after the end of the war. But quite the career. I got to read it. There's a book on the Intrepid I got from the Air Museum in the used book section that I really got to read now, I think, after my current book.
Absolutely.
But just super cool. And then as for F6, F5Ps, there aren't any as I know.
Not surviving.
I don't know if you could find anything, but F6, F5, we got one just down the road at Picken Fighters.
Like I said earlier, the Intrepid itself is still around.
Yep.
So
you gotta check that out.
If you ever find yourself in New York City, it is so worth the stop. They have a World War II era, they have a TBM Avenger, and a recent exhibit documents the life and sacrifice of a Corsair pilot.
Oh, wow.
And they recovered a propeller and bits and pieces of his Corsair from a swamp, I believe actually in the Philippines too. Really? So really, really impactful stuff. I kind of another random segue here, but the soon to be former curator for the Intrepid actually stopped by the Air Museum not too long ago, and I got to talk with him and his wife, and super nice guy, amazing, super knowledgeable on stuff. And so having been on the Intrepid, this podcast, actually meeting the guy has my job on a much bigger museum ship, a ship of all places. I was just, it's
never know who you're going to meet.
Exactly. That can't even say it.
It was good timing, right?
So. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, this was our 10th already, so, and we were only supposed to have 9, so
So we've definitely found a few extra ones for you
yeah, can't
guys.
complain. So we have 2 left. Got some really fun ones left.
Yeah, I think we saved the last three, including Picken, I think are probably our most interesting. I'd
they're all
say,
cool, but yeah, they're pretty rich in history here. So
absolutely.
So yeah, well, thanks for listening. I guess
Yeah.
watching if you did watch the YouTube soundbar, I guess. But yeah, we'll see you next week with another really fun one. And again, thanks to Mike and Jackie for all the help with
Thank you
this research.
so much.
Couldn't have done it without you guys.
Absolutely. All right. We'll take it easy.
Yep. We'll see you next time.